Social media can get you feeling like you're underachieving and every single person out there is making a lot of money. Many times that's not actually the reality, but this video is for you to get you motivated in making more money. And let me be very clear. I've come from not a lot of money. In fact, my dad was a taxi driver who he's a hard worker. He would do everything that he could and put bread on the table, and as they say, and I ate. I lived a good life, to be fair. Having said that, today now, our families, our parents, they expect more of us. They expect us to achieve more, and we can feel like we're not achieving as much as other people out there. So what is the formula? What is the solution? And what should you be doing to eventually get to that point? Number one, don't feel sorry for yourself, because that just isn't helpful, right? I didn't do well in GCSEs. I actually academically have never been the smartest, right? Though today put me in front of a director or a managing director of a multi-million, billion-pound company, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation with that person. So anyway, the point being is academically I was never good. My dad, was a taxi driver, and so I don't come from money. I worked a job, I went to uni, I did what most people do in the middle class, as you can say. I would say I was, if anything, I was below middle class, right? Having said that, how did I get out? How did I now get to a point where, alhamdulillah, shukr Allah Azza wa Jal, of course, Allah blessed me, okay? Where we run businesses internationally, I run companies from the UK, the UAE, and so on and so forth. So how did that even happen? Realizing you have to make change, I think is crucial. Because see, when I was working a job, I was making about £70,000 a year. I was making good money. But at that point, when I was getting my payslip and I wasn't actually seeing a lot of the money that I thought I would see, at £70,000, I was making just over £3,000. It was like, wow, I need to do something with my life. Like, surely from 30 to 70,000, the jump isn't actually that big. Because at £30,000 a year, you're making about £2,000. And at £70,000 a year, you're making, 3.5, 3.7, depending on a few factors. So 15, and I've worked so hard. Like, guys, I'm telling you how hard I was working at £30,000 a year. Like, that was my salary. And then how hard I had to, work to get to £70,000 a year, day and night, right? More hours, more stress, and so on and so forth. So that is the point where I quit my job and realized I had to do something, start a company. But the point here is you need to realize you have to do something for yourself. You have to realize you're in a problem and to reflect back at the situation right now and understand what is going wrong. Understand you need to do something different. If you don't understand that, really, you're not ever going to want to create new ways of making money or do something for yourself because you don't realize there's a problem. Now, is there a problem? Well, let's discuss it. Do you want to be restricted to a certain country? That could be the US, that could be the UK, that could be Europe. Do you want to stay in these countries, or do you want to have the opportunity to move into a Muslim country? And look, I don't want to commercialize hijrah because I think that does happen. But also, where I don't want to commercialize hijrah, I don't want you guys to feel like we can't talk about hijrah because actually it's great. I mean, there's huge pros about moving to a Muslim country. And so if today an opportunity was given to you, where you can move your children, your family, and live in a country where, the adhan's out loud, it's a Muslim environment, Muslim culture, you're not looked in a bad way for being a Muslim. I mean, sometimes in the Western countries, the US, UK, Europe, let's be honest, we are looked as, oh, you're a Muslim, right? I'm in recruitment. I've been in recruitment for the last 13 years now. SubhanAllah, it's been a long time. How many times have I seen discrimination based on your name? Many times, right? In fact, often I myself will not put a certain name forward if I know the company might be a little bit discriminatory towards certain groups within our community. So this is the reality. So again, if this is something you want to do you have an issue where you're just working a job, you come home, you're not able to give your parents time, you're not able to give your children time, you don't have that flexibility of actually living your life? Are you just, do you remember the 5, 6, 7 years of you working a job? Do you actually remember them? Do you remember 2 or 3 days of 7, 8 years of working a job? Because if you don't, you're just living life like a robot. And truth is, with AI coming out, your job's probably at risk. Within 3 years, I'd be surprised if 80% of you guys watching me right now, I'm going to make a massive claim. 80% of you watching me right now, you will be out of a job, I would say, within the next 5 years. 80%. That is not to say new jobs won't come out. New jobs will come out, right? But a lot of the guys that are, in offices, computers, that sort of, man, you're at risk. You're at risk. Okay. The point still is this. What should you be doing? You need to realize you have a problem. So that could be you need to move countries, you need more money, you need flexibility, you need your wife to respect you, you don't want your wife to go to work, you want to be able to, earn the bread at home. You need to realize the problems that you have and remind yourself of them, and don't turn a blind eye to them. Realize you've got a problem and then say, okay, fine, I have got a problem. Now I'm working a job. Well, what can I do alongside my job to create some extra wealth? That could be £500 or £1,000. I mean, that could only be £200 extra a month. But as long as you start, it is something. £200 a month saved after a year is still £2,400. Again, that might not sound like a lot of money, but that £200 can grow. You have to do a side hustle. You have to do a business. There is no other way. I mean, if you're going to just start working a job, maybe you start a part-time or evening job. That's not beneficial because that can't grow, right? There is a cap on that job. Let's say you're going to make another £500 working another job. Now there is a cap on that. But if you start a business, a side hustle, then you can actually make, from 200 to 400 to 400 to 800 money. It's possible. Now I'll say this, start something for yourself, create wealth. And even if it means you take less right now, with the opportunity to increase in a year or 2 years, that is completely worth it. The point is this, guys. Do you want to be a Muslim that lives his life working a job for the rest of his life, is not able to give that much time to his parents, is not able to give that much time to his children, is not able to do the things that he wants to do? And that could be, going to the masjid 3, 4, 5 times a day. That could be reading the extra Quran ayahs if that's, what you should and we all should be aspiring for. There is nothing wrong with that. And look, I know there's a big party that says, stop speaking bad about jobs and it's not that bad. And I agree completely. This isn't me putting jobs down. This is me telling you guys you're better than whatever you think you're doing right now. You can achieve more. And whether you're working a job or, you're maybe running a business, you can do more. And remember something, the biggest reason people will fail in life today, the biggest reason people are flopping, it isn't because they don't have the best idea, they don't know how. That's a big factor. But a lot of it comes down to consistency. Are you willing to turn up every single day? And are you willing to do that for a year? Because if you just say this, a person is going to work on their business every single day and do that for a year, 90% of people will probably not be able to do that. 90% of people cannot turn up every single day and do something for 1 year. And so you will stand out. You need to work hard. You need to turn up every single day. You need to realize there are problems that you need to change. If you don't change them, you will continue living your life. And I promise you something, you're 30 years old right now, or 25 or 20 years old. A lot of the younger generation watches me. You will be 60 and you will be 70, and before you know it, you'll go. Time in this world is limited. It's short. Spend it wisely. Work, do whatever you got to do, but make sure you are making time for the most important things in life, like your religion, your family, your parents, your children. You need to bring up your children. If you don't bring them up Islamically and you've just sent them to school, who's bringing them up? Or Lucy, Mark, or John is bringing them up, and they might not be Muslim. So who is better than to bring up your children than you as a parent? I homeschool my children and I'm blessed to be able to do that. I think it's a lot of it is my wife, to be fair, but we homeschool our children and the fruits are amazing. No one can raise your child better than you, right? And academically, get some tutors in, get some teachers in. Again, costs money, right? Life is expensive. I want to be able to go to Umrah 3-4 times a year. I should be able to do that. I can't do that if I am, maybe working a job. I won't be able to make hijrah. I might not be able to go to Umrah 3-4 times a year. I might not be able to give my parents the life that they want. I might not be able to go on holidays. I might not be able to have the flexibility with my children. I might not be able to gift my wife whatever she wants. These are little things, man. And they make a big, big difference. Remember this, man. As Muslims, we are in control of our life. We should aspire for as much as possible. And you guys are better than what you think you are doing right now. That is my simple message to you. Whatever you're doing right now, you are better than what you think you're doing. You can do so much more. Turn up consistently, work hard, and make dua to Allah Azza wa Jalla, because nothing is possible without Allah's permission. You have to understand that. So I will give you guys hustle ideas, business ideas, how you can make money, all of that stuff. But again, when we come back and we start with the motivation. We have to understand why we are doing what we're doing, and what is going wrong in our life, and what we need to fix. Reflect, think back, message me in the comments if you have any questions. Like this video or share with your family and friends.